CMS. All right, once we get into here, we've got some tabs across the top. The main thing that you're going to use is the circulation tab. That is for checking books in and out. Catalog is if a kid wants to search for a book. And they can do that out there as well once we get that going. So once we open up a tab at the top, we've got tabs to the left. The tabs to the left, you're going to use mainly check out and check in. So check out, the first thing we have to do is we have to make sure that the student's account is pulled up. Grab a couple of books here. And a practice one, I set up a student ID with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Except it's not typing. 1, 2, 3, no, come on. There we go. So then we've got a fake student. So then it's automatically in checkout mode. So if the kid wants this book, you just scan it. And if it scans twice, it doesn't hurt anything. And it lists the return date. And then we usually stamp in the back because they always ask 100 times what the due date is. So that, I'm trying to remember to change that each day. So that checks it out. And you can check out as many as you want. It'll just pop it right in there as needs to be. Sometimes this has to be, like there's a beam coming out, it has to be like perpendicular to the beam that's coming out. If you do it like this, well, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't,
Okay.
depending on the barcode. If the kid brings these back and they're finished with them, so my suggestion is when a kid is finished, you're always going to hit reset. And that's important for our building because some of our student ID numbers are exactly the same as book ID numbers. We're the only school that happens in, of course. So you'll want to always reset between each kid. If a kid comes and they want to turn books in, we're still under circulation. You go to check in over here on the left. You can scan as many as you want, and it shows who had it. So if they're checking them both in, here's the nice part. You can just go to check out up here, and this pulls their account up exactly.
Okay.
So just make sure it's the same kid. Sometimes kids will bring in books that weren't theirs, so I always just kind of double check to make sure it's the correct kid. And then again, you just check a book, check it out, and then reset. But it's important, always reset between each kid. If they bring a book in and they just want to renew it, you can just click renew and you can just scan the book. You don't have to put their name in. You can. That can be through the checkout. And you can just find the kid and it'll show what they have.
Just redate it.
And it'll show when it's due. Yeah, and then you'll scan it and then just put the new date in the back. So that part's pretty simple. If a kid wants to know what they've got checked out, there's a couple of ways you can do it. You can go through the checkout tab, which to me is the easiest. Or you can do patron status, which is the same thing. So if you go to patron status, you can, again, you hit the kid's ID number, and they can usually type it themselves. And it'll pull them up, and it'll say if they've got fines. The other thing that we run into is when a kid checks out books, or if they've got late stuff, it doesn't always show up. I'm trying to think who would have had an overdue book. I have no idea who had an overdue book. I'm gonna find a kid. Nope. Let's see. Haley, let's see if Haley had an overdue book. Nope. Nope. Well, there's one. Okay. So if they have an overdue book and we scan it, this shows that they have a fine. And you think that this kid doesn't have anything, but you kind of got to watch that little area. So when you scan this, it gives you, this is the expired card. That's the thing I have to fix, but it also tells me that she has a fine. And so I prefer not to check books out to kids, but if it's just one book, usually I'll still give them a book. But we have some kids who have $100 in fines because the kids don't check for that. And so they just keep losing books. So then you would have to override it and say, yes, complete it, and then it checked it out to her.
So at what point do you tell a kid, sorry, you have too many fines, I'm not giving you a book?
Usually if they have 2. If
Okay.
it's 2 books, then they need to bring one back.
Okay.
So the limit's 2 books. It's set up to only allow 2 books.
Okay.
And it'll, like if I do, let's say if I do a couple more books under her. So it's gonna let her have 2,
Uh-huh.
but see, she's still got the fine because that's marked as lost. But if I check out a 3rd one, it's saying max checkouts reached. She's a 6th grader, and that's why it says 6. A lot of kids think that that means 6 books.
Okay.
That just means she's a 6th grader, and her max checkout has reached. So do we want to complete it?
Okay.
No. I don't usually do that unless they're a big reader, and maybe Miss Bowling, they're doing like their non-fiction stuff, and it's like a required book that they, and then I
Yes.
will let those kids do that.
Okay.
Kind of a, but for the most part, I don't. And then again, you can hit reset. And I'm gonna go ahead and check these back in so that they are not still out in those kids' names. And you don't have that one, and if it's not checked out to anybody, it'll just say used in library.
Okay.
Ask again, that one, anybody? No, I did, okay.
Okay.
So, and then just reset. And I need to figure out, we've got the book return out there that the kids can check. Right now, my key's the one that works it, but this is also my door key. So I don't know, I'll try to just remember to check that in the mornings and we'll get those out then.
And where are they at? In that room?
No, they're in the box out
The
there in the
box.
hallway.
Oh, gotcha, gotcha.
So if you all want to practice with this, you can. That's usually what I tell the kids to do. Just grab some books and practice. You all have IDs too, but I don't know what they are. I usually just, you can, if a kid doesn't know their ID, you can search by their last name. So
Okay.
like, you can just type, let's see, Smith. I don't know. I guess we have Smiths.
Is it their
pa-
6-digit number? or-
It's usually their 6-digit, but you can also search by last name.
Okay.
Okay.
And it'll pull up everybody, and you just click on it, and then it'll do the same thing. It just pulls up.
Okay.
So that's nice too. If for some reason, let's see, it should say only active, and it should say only my patrons up here. Those are usually what are checked. You can search by, you can narrow the search to patron names, a barcode. I think it's username. I think is what it's usually set at. Let's see. 102-601. Let me clear that. 102-601. Oh my gosh, my thumb's not working. 102-601. Yeah.
Okay,
So ID number works the best.
okay.
And either they can do it, and if these don't work, usually it's because the number lock's not pushed down.
Okay.
So, and these may have gotten mixed up. This one may run off of that one, and that one may work off of this
Okay.
one. I haven't checked them yet, so.
And when you're checking in, you just scan it and it pulls the kid up?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, if they're, and usually that's what they'll do. Usually they'll bring me the book, and then here's my old one, here's my new one.
Okay.
And they don't understand the concept of checking in, checking out. That's over their head. So I usually ask them, give me your old book first,
Okay.
and then give me your new book, because that's the only thing that they really enter. Most of the kids don't get the in and out
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
I've tried to explain it, and it just goes over their head.
Check it in, check it
So that's mainly it. And then I pile them on the cart and then have the kids reshelve them. I usually do the fiction, nonfiction, and the graphic novels.
Okay.
And the fiction is that half over there. The nonfiction is this half. And then the graphic novels are right under the Garfield poster way over there in the corner.
Okay.
And it's all a disaster, so.